And welcome back. We finally are off of the break. We are here ready to go. Qualifying round, last match of the day, and it's going to be a bang out. It will be Southern Miss taking on the juggernauts of Northwood. Hockey Creams Zanil against Zath Astro Melodic. We've got a big series ahead. This is a huge one for Southern Miss. If they can knock out Northwood, that is going to make massive waves across the entirety of CRL. Not only is it going to halt their point count for the time being, it's also going to propel Southern Miss to such a high spot in those rankings. So it's going to be a really important one for Southern Miss to win. And if Northwood does manage to pull this one away, then they're just going to continue stacking upon their current lead in the standings. Of course, only second to Maryville, who took them down in the bracket reset last week.
Now, it is interesting because we also did look at this bracket that Maryville was on, and they also did end up losing, and they are in the lower bracket.
I forget who they lost to. I'm gonna pull it up again. I honestly kind of forget who they lost to, but it was kind of a weird team, and they actually have to play Harrisburg. So there's going to be a large matchup there. Those are two teams that both should be qualifying. And again, that's just the nature of these CRL brackets this year. It's not the league format, so you don't get a bunch of teams qualifying that are like all variety, like every single team you expect. It's now rather just two teams from every pool, and then that's it. So like you are getting a lot of teams that you would consider in the top 10, in the top 8, but they just can't qualify because they have to play another top 8 team.
Yeah, it's a good little system that they have, and it's going to be an interesting matchup that we have coming up here. As you said, Northwood Blue versus Southern Miss. Southern Miss on a bit of a hot streak, taken down by Ball State, and Northwood on a bit of a back foot as they did end up losing to UTK, which was a massive upset. But Northwood has been running through these lower brackets to try and qualify for tomorrow, and Southern Miss just looking to qualify for their first little open.
Yeah, and Northwood, as you mentioned, after that loss to UGK, they've just been on a tear. We've been watching them, and every other game that was going on that was streamed, we've been watching pretty much everything we could have. So right now we are just, one, awaiting to get into the game, but two, seeing that Northwood turn up there is just insane. Like, they have looked very good since that loss to UTK. They just look a lot better. It's as simple as that. They look like they're old. I don't want to say old selves because it's not like they were that far different, but like they look like they're locked in. They want to take this game. They want to get back to that grand final where they belong. And speaking of the Maryville loss, they ended up losing to Oklahoma Christian, a team that it makes sense how they could have lost to, but it's a team that they still shouldn't be losing to. That was in the winner's semifinal, which means St. Clair Green, of all teams, managed to get into the top 8 through the winner's side, and they took down OC 3-0. So they didn't even give OC a game. Now, on the other side, Maryville is currently playing Harrisburg. That is on stream over on, I think it says, I can't read the full name because the stream is just not fully on there, but I'm seeing also George Mason in that bracket. So the winner of Harrisburg, Maryville, will go to play George Mason, another very strong team. Honestly, I could see all 4 of these teams finding a way to qualify. OC, George Mason, Maryville, and Harrisburg. So that's going to be a grind of a bracket. And if you're Maryville, that's exactly why you want to get through that winner's side. You had the opportunity to. Now there's a chance you have to rematch with OC in that loser's final, and you might not make it, especially since you lost to them earlier.
Yeah, but we look ahead. That's a time for tomorrow. If and when Southern Miss ends up beating this Northwood team, it's going to be a bit of a tough match to them. They're coming fresh off of a loss from Ball State and a almost 2-hour little intermission that they had. They probably were playing matches trying to keep themselves as warm as possible. Now, we did see earlier some great passing plays from Southern Miss, but they kind of fell short on the foot of the fact that they were getting boost starved terribly, and their double commits have gotten better, but it's still not at that level to where they can beat a team like Ball State, who is just constantly keeping the same pace over and over and over again.
Yeah, Ball State definitely having a very solid showing in that winners final. There's a reason that they have qualified for tomorrow, and we will see where they end up getting matched up at. Now, I do believe there's a small disadvantage to getting into the bracket through losers. Just seeding wise, I don't know exactly how they do the seeding. My guess is it's probably something like pool one's winners seed plays like bracket two's losers seed, something like that. Which, I mean, this week it's not an advantage at all to come in through winners, because you're going to be playing a Maryville or a Northwood or a USM. Like you're in a really tough spot. It's not as simple as it may sound. It's not as big of an advantage that you may think it is, especially now. I mean, it's unbelievable the gauntlet some of these teams are going through. I mean, I'm excited to just see Northwood. I've never gotten to cast a Northwood match. I've casted a lot of Fisher matches. Again, at my alma mater over at LVC, I casted a ton of Fisher matches. We just got put into the division all the time, or like if we played a bracket, we were always in their side of the bracket for some reason. But I've never really gotten to cast a Northwood match. And along with that, these players are like bubble CR or RLCS players. So like this is a different type of experience. It's going to be a different type of pace. It's going to be a different type of game than what you're going to see even in your Naces with the Southern Miss squad. Like this is a completely different beast you're talking about when you're looking at hockey, Zanil, and Creams.
Yeah, and we all know that they had a little bit of a rough start, Northwood did, but they are coming back. So it's not like Southern Miss can just be like, oh yeah, this team isn't playing their game today. No. They're playing a game. We did watch two of the Northwood games while we were in little intermission, and they were playing beautifully. I mean, taking Illinois State down in that third game. I'm pretty sure they managed to reverse sweep, but they're back, and they are looking to win this match so that they can go back to the finals to get more points, and hoping that they can beat Maryville.
And this is going to be a best of 5, so you have a few more opportunities, just like the last series we showed on stream a few hours ago. That was also a best of 5. Southern Miss falling 3-0 to Ball State. Now going to have a chance to redeem themselves against Northwood. It's gonna be a grind. I thought we were gonna get into this game a little bit quicker, but I guess we're just waiting for the invite, which we have just gotten. So that's perfect timing, actually. We just need to hop into the lobby, and then we'll be good to go and get ready to hop into this game. But that's really all the analysis we can give for now. I mean, it's just basically time to get into the game and get ready to see what goes down in this losers final. I mean, again, if Southern Miss can pull this upset off, it would be monumental, not only for Southern Miss, but also kind of something for Northwood to look at and be like, yo, what are we doing? Yeah. Like it reminds me of that Scump clip from Black Ops 3 where he said, if we don't make champs, dude, what are we doing? Like it's literally just that, except here we're talking about Collegiate Rocket League and something that is so much lower stakes, like lower stakes to times of a million between CRL Sunday for one open of the 4 and COT champs. 2 very different events.
Yeah, and Northwood, I think they came into this thinking, they are the team on top. They can do what they want and play how they want, and they're gonna win anyway. But they lost. They do this big ego chow thing, which we did see in the Illinois State game whenever they won, where 2 of them will jump up, sort of like how Southern Miss plays on their double commits, but that third man just does not rotate for the life of him. So I'm interested to see how Northwood decides to play against Southern Miss, knowing that Southern Miss is a top team, like a top contender, and they have the ability to beat them. And it looks like we are getting into this match. Astro gonna 50 off Zanil with Zath taking a nice little 50, another 50 on Creams, and Astro takes possession of the ball, gonna try and go down for the block on Hockey. Melodic hits it up, 0 boost unfortunately, just taking a 50 off of Creams, trying to pass it middle to Zath. No one ends up being there. Astro with a little bit of a misflip. Melodic gonna be, or Zath gonna be the only one back. Astro making another amazing save, but unable to block Hockey, and it's 1-0 Northwood.
That is an incredible dribble from Zanil. It's nothing too fancy either. It's just a simple air dribble. You're going to see pretty much everyone in this lobby is very capable of. Does get the reset, and that shot is initially blocked, but a great follow from Hockey. He's going to give Northwood their first goal of the series, and now Melodic looking to respond. Maybe a bit of a misplay there towards the end. I think wanted a dribble, and that's going to be a double attempt from Zanil. Not going to get there. Cream's now looking to follow, but here is Melodic now sending it out for Southern Miss. They might have a man advantage for just a second. Zath, smart recognition on that play there. At least keeps it away from Creams for the time being, but not for very long. Creams rocket down to from the top corner. Not going to go. Hockey sending it back out to Creams, but Melodic just trying to play spoiler, be in the way. Now it's one to beat, but Zanil playing that third man.
Yeah, and as we can see, Southern Miss really has been on the back foot right now, unable to get any boost and make a strong attacking play as they're sort of just sending Northwood the ball, and Northwood's just playing around it beautifully, not taking too many chows as Melodic hits it up to Astro. Astro unable to beat Creams as he gets 50'd off. Zath manages to get a fair 50, and Astro gonna take the touch, but Melodic ends up making the shot in, tying it up for Southern Miss 1-1.
Also, I'm noticing Astro didn't actually get a touch there. The assist went to Zath, so no touch for Astro, but Melodic just creating plays on his own, and we've been seeing it all day. That's exactly what Southern Miss needs to let happen. They need to let Melodic continue to do his thing, and you're going to see him get another chance now. Not the best of angles, though, and also ran out of boost after a little bit, so he's going to sit that one out for Zath. Now back down to Astro, who should be passing this right down, and that Zath not able to get to the ball just in time. Hockey will be the one to clear that away, but Melodic again back for more. Gonna have to find a different avenue though, as Astro gonna be the one to take this possession. Now sending it out to Zath, can't get the shot to go through, and now you're seeing USM get a lot more control, but for how long?
Yeah, it looks like it's about to be a Zanil goal as he misses the double, but Hockey is able to be there to score that goal for him, making it 2-1 for Northwood. Hockey, beautiful follow-up. Zath unable to get there in time to make that save. We'll see how Southern Miss responds.
And something I want to point out, Northwood is taking a huge advantage out of the man disadvantages that Southern Miss has. Southern Miss is a very aggressive team. We have seen this time and time again. They are constantly on ball. There's a lot of times where they're double committing, triple committing, that sort of thing. And even their third man is typically playing very, very close to the opposing team's net. And we're seeing Northwood punish that. Right here is another attempt of that. Melodic that will be back, and so is Zath. So realistically, Northwood is going to take advantage when you're in the disadvantage, but a huge bump that's going to allow Southern Miss to get more space. But for how long is that going to last? 2 minutes now on the clock, and it's a 2-1 lead for Northwood.
Yeah, and it looks as if Northwood is double committing on the ball a lot. They are 0 boost, just trying to take a shot and give anyone time to pick up boost. It seems as if Creams has just recovered that boost, not going due to Zath having full ball control. But as you can see, Southern Miss barely any boost, trying to make as many defensive touches as they can. Hockey hits it to the middle. Zath able to make that save out, and Astro's just going to try and play for time. Ends up hitting it to Melodic, and Melodic going again for a solo play right to Zath, but Zath unable to get the redirect as Hockey saves it. Hockey back flipping. It looks like Northwood is just on top of each other, trying to collect this ball. Hockey bumped off by Zath as he's trying to make a touch. Astro just pinching it up. Cream's gonna get the flip reset, trying to take a shot off a goal. Nice little dribble attempt, and Hockey just slots it to the right. A beautiful 50 right there by Creams. What a smart play.
What I wanted to say before that goal goes in is that I am liking the offensive creativity from Southern Miss, but you have to tip the hat to Northwood. I mean, these players are just so fast, and they are hyper aware of everything that's going on. Hockey's going to get a good 50, may have a chance after that dash off the wall to get to that one, won't do so, but still keeping his team in perfect positions. Now, Hockey again has an opportunity, definitely not going to be able to read two players of Southern Miss missing, but now Southern Miss on the back foot. Zanil looking for the midfield, just going to go for a bump, huge bump onto Zath. That's an open net for Creams, and he can't connect. That is something you're not going to see very often.
No, not at all. And Southern Miss is going to try and take advantage of that misplay. Zath going to try and go for the ball, ends up getting the demo on Hockey, but Zanil's still there. Melodic is going to go for a solo play, bump down to Astro. Can they slot it? And Zanil comes in, and it's still on this ball. Look at that rotation by Zanil. The smart plays. Zath's going to try and take a 50. Melodic going to hit it over Creams. Astro is up, unable to slot it down. A bit of an unlucky touch right there to Hockey, and it is looking like it's going to be, yep, it's going to be Northwood's game for this match 1, 3-2, but Southern Miss got that last second goal. They're probably going to use this momentum into the next game.
A valiant attempt there from Astro to put that one through at the end of the game, but will be the teammates that have to clean it on up. And I'm seeing Zanil didn't really have any accolades, but he did have some decent stats still. He just was probably playing a bit further back. I did see him typically going mainly for passer as that first man, going for a lot of the initial shots. You can even see the team stats overall. I mean, that's 3 goals, a hat trick for Hockey, has 4 shots. And also, you got to mention 0 for 9 between Creams and Zanil on the shooting end. And there's not even a whole ton of saves from Southern Miss. There's only 4. So you would like to, if you are a fan of Northwood, you would like to see them step it on up in the shooting game. That game could have been a major blowout, and realistically, it really wasn't. And you're seeing it as a 3-2 scoreline. It was 3-1. That last second goal is just going to make it look a bit closer.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Southern Miss playing it beautifully. They're going to have to play these bump plays a little smarter than what they have been. Northwood is really putting the pressure on them. They're really not doing as good at conserving boost as Northwood is, as we see Northwood using all of these wall dashes, chain dashes, everything, every recovery mechanic they can think of to get to the ball, to make it to where Southern Miss doesn't have that good of a position. And Melodic is going to have to step up the game on the solo plays, because he knows that Zath and Astro are going to both be there for him to take the ball off of his hands once he gets it past one and ends up 50ing the other. But we will see how Southern Miss plays, and it's a quick shot off right there by Northwood, and Melodic just going to take a 50 down. Creams reads it. Astro is up for the other 50. Zath is going to try and make a play. Not Melodic unable to get to that ball. Astro, what a beautiful bump play there by Zath, by the way. But Hockey gonna try and make that redirect. Astro gets faked out by Zanil, and it's just a goal for Zanil.
Smart play there from Zanil. I mean, you're going to see the fake. Astro not able to get there. Melodic flying in a little too fast. Zath was not in the position to save. There was realistically no way he's going to get that save anyways, unless if he somehow finds a way to slam it into the ceiling. And that angle just really isn't possible to do so. It is, but with his position, there's just almost no way. As you'll see, Creams now sending it back down to Hockey. Has an opportunity to pass it out to Zanil. Looks for him, but no boost, so it's going to be a pretty light pass. It'll go all the way over now for Southern Miss, trying to make a play, and there's a couple fakes going down now. Creams trying to get the dunk, won't go. Zanil back on pace. It'll be Astro, though, sending it away. Hockey doesn't have anyone anyone in the midfield, so just going to go right back to Astro.
Yeah, and Melodic trying to make the most of it, gets demoed off by Creams. Creams looking for another demo, and it is about to look like another goal for Hockey as Southern Miss is 0 boost on that side, on that backboard, unable to do anything as no one has nothing. Yeah, Zath unable to make that save, very close, but Northwood is stealing all of Southern Miss's boost, making to where they can't make a single play as Hockey just goes for the bump on Melodic, and that should be just another goal. Beautiful plays by Northwood.
This is exactly what I expected out of them. These players, they're honestly, I'm kind of surprised that they're in the losers to begin with, much less having had to play several matches in losers. This team is just very, very hard to stop. I mean, outside of the RLCS, like this is a team that very rarely loses games in collegiate Rocket League, and there's a reason for it, and you're seeing it right now. Not only is every player just very individually talented, they work together so very well. I mean, there's a reason that they're successful even in RLCS Opens, but right there you're going to see no goal for Northwood there. Now it's going to be Zanil carrying it out to the midfield. At least a steal for Zath, but is there anyone back to contest this? There is. Melodic will get there in time. Creams, though, keeping the pressure on, not for very long. Astro trying to send it out. It's just a grind to get anywhere near the half of Northwood. That blue side is just a struggle for Southern Miss to even get towards. You're going to see Hockey now sending it up to Zanil. Pass, shot, no goal, saved by Astro.
Yeah, but Hockey got the little demo on Zath. Zath will respawn with 33 boost, but it's looking as to be another Southern Miss attack, but not. I mean, Melodic might get a quick double. It's just in. Melodic just slots it in. A beautiful attack right there on Zanil. Hits it just right over Zanil's head. Zanil unable to get there and barely touches that top post. 3-1 Northwood Blue.
Yeah, Southern Miss finally getting one back. It feels like forever since we've seen a Southern Miss goal. I mean, even a Southern Miss possession that lasted more than a couple touches. Like right here, you're seeing another one, but the defensive style of Northwood, they are just so smart on that defensive half. They know when they need to get touches, and look at that from Cream, sending it all the way out to Hockey. Is there anyone in the midfield? No. Melodic doing a good job of keeping possession away from Northwood, gets at least a little poke, knowing that they just need to contest. If they can continue contesting the ball, they're going to at least have opportunities, and that's going to be an open net. Zath will score that, and Northwood getting caught off guard there. I think there was a demo that went through, and Astro just beating, I believe that was Hockey, and two Southern Miss players in position to score that one. Now they're back within one.
Now we're still seeing Southern Miss just get completely drowned out on boost. I mean, barely, none of them had boost at that moment of play. They're just trying to find anything they can. They're getting bumped off, a little bit of a fake play, and it's technically an own goal. Zanil unable to make the save. Astro gets, what a wild touch right over under Hockey actually, and Zanil unable to make that play. Southern Miss tied it up 3 goals in a row, 3-3.
I'm baffled, to be honest. I mean, it felt like Northwood had this game in their hands, and they've all of a sudden need to step it back up. And the woes that we talked about earlier, they may just be coming back. Creams at least gets a 50 there. Melodic, though, able to poke it away. Zanil not quite in position. Astro only able to get one touch, but he has Zath above. Melodic, though, needs to rotate back. He is not in a good position, and that's going to cost him right there. That's going to give 2 players in Northwood the ball. You cannot allow that to happen. Hockey, though, doesn't have the boost, and really none of Northwood had the boost at the time to make much out of that. Now you're going to see a bunch of bumps come through. Melodic at least still staying in position on the ball, but you have to be a lot more careful offensively if you are Southern Miss.
Yeah, and offensively for Northwood, they are playing these bumps really well. As we see Zanil demoing Astro, which really isn't that big of a deal. It just puts Astro right back at the defense where they really need him to be. But another bump comes off. Creams going for the double tap. It's almost open, saved by Astro. It looks like Northwood has no boost to work with as Hockey manages to hit the ball up the field. Melodic gonna take his time here, hit up. Zath is just gonna bang it, trying to stall as much time as he can due to the fact that Southern Miss is dried out on boost. Melodic gonna take a touch off the wall, trying to get a dunk. Nice little dunk there. Zath hits it straight to Zanil, and Zanil makes another play right over Astro. Hockey shoots it, almost slotted in by Zanil, but Melodic there to make the save. Zath playing as much as he can. What a save by Zath. Northwood not backing down. They do not want this to go into overtime, but unfortunately, we will be going into overtime in game 2.
Great stuff from Southern Miss at the end of that game. Northwood be getting relentless, but maybe even a little bit careless on how they're taking their shots. I mean, I say that, but that's an absolute lie, and you're seeing why right then and there as Northwood shutting the door, slamming it shut, and I mean 11 seconds in, a great pass from Creams. Hockey finds that top left corner. It's not going to get much better than that. Northwood going to take game number 2. Now 1 away from sending themselves into Sunday, and I will say Northwood it's a bit sketchy there. They had a lot of offense going on the end of that game, and I mean, again, in the shots category, I mean, I'm struggling to do the math that fast. That's 13 shots, I believe, from the side of Northwood. And I mean, only 6 saves if you are Southern Miss. So Northwood just, I mean, an absurd amount of shots going through, and even Southern Miss getting a good bit, but they're still just unable to get over that hump, really find the last piece of the puzzle that will get them at least a game over Northwood. But it's looking tough right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to reverse sweep here, and it was a very close game, that game. An unfortunate little overtime there for Southern Miss. Astro on the back foot, couldn't make those crazy saves that he usually could, but that's nothing to be mad about. I mean, taking a team like Northwood to an overtime, it's got to be, and coming back from a 3-0 lead, like, you can't be mad about that. And Hockey gonna take an early hit. Zath hitting it down to Astro, banging it off the sidewall. Cream's there, gonna stay with it, trying to get that second touch. Zath gonna take a 50 with Hockey. Hockey gonna try and just hit it down straight to the kneel, but Zath gets that demo. Southern Miss, no boost. Gonna leave it for Melodic. Melodic takes the boost from the right and straight down. Hockey could not manage to score it. Melodic bumped off by, I'm pretty sure that was Hockey, but holy, Southern Miss down 1-0.
Great shot from Zanil as well. Didn't have a lot of space between where he was on the ground and where the ball was, so he really had to slow down his car while he was in midair to get that one to go in the net, and Creams is going to follow it up with another goal. That's right off the kickoff. Zanil, good work getting it to his teammate, as I believe that was Zath who ended up missing the ball. Actually, I think it was Melodic who ended up curving left, maybe expecting Zath to get a second touch, and it ultimately doesn't go that way. So it's now down 2-0. We saw them come back from 3-0 down, but it's just going to be such a tough task to actually win the game, regardless if you make the comeback to put it at a draw.
Yeah, I mean, and we've seen that a couple times. Southern Miss is really bad at conceding these kickoff goals, especially with Melodic as their push-up, but it seems that they're going to concede another one a minute down, and Northwood is already 3-0. Southern Miss defense unable to find anything happening. Zath missing the ball, that leaves an open shot for Zanil just to slot it in. Southern Miss gonna have to make a change up here, find something that works. But so far, it's looking like a Northwood win.
Yeah, I mean, they're in perfect position to take game number 3 and take this series in a clean sweep. As Zath gets an air demo, that's a big one. It could have led to a goal, but still another player behind. Melodic has the opportunity. Now he's going to get aerial demoed. Now Zath, the next man up. Southern Miss doesn't have much in that one, but you'll see them continuing to toss the ball down to the corner. Melodic trying to get the read off the ceiling, won't be there. Astro now going to get demoed. It's Northwood stepping it up in the demo category. Hockey not able to get the redirect, but it looks like, actually I thought that was a Northwood player for a second. It was not. He was unable to put it into the back of the net. Hockey, though, going to respond to it. And that's another one for Northwood. Now 4-0 up, and it's looking like that might be it. I don't want to say that with 3 minutes on the clock, but it's looking very, very grim here if you are Southern Miss.
Yeah, Northwood looking to end this game quickly. I say that and they're 4 goals up, but, you know, what are you going to do? Southern Miss is going to have to make a change up here, but a team of this caliber, they're going to have to make a big change up, pull out some plays. If at any point you were going to start peaking, this would be the moment, as Zath gets it over one, Astro unable to get it over the second, and Melodic going to try and take the ball up the wall, challenged by Kareems, and a shot by Astro, saved by Hockey. So close. Southern Miss trying their hardest to make anything happen on the offensive side. Zath demoed out by Kareems, but manages to get around. Zanil unable to pick it up. Hockey unable to make that save, and it's just a goal for Astro. Southern Miss still has life. They are just looking to do something.
A really interesting touch there from Astro. I'd imagine he wanted it to be a pass, but you'll take the goal, of course, if it just goes on in. You're not gonna question that. But it's another kickoff, almost kickoff goal for the side of Northwood. Creams getting very close. There's Neil gonna get a demo onto Zath on the other side of the map. Astro trying to give this one to Melodic, but doesn't have a lot of an opportunity to do so. 4-1, so still a clean lead if you are Northwood, but Southern Miss continuing to creep on back. Time is absolutely against them, though. Hockey going to dribble this one in, tries to. Melodic it does get the save. Now it's going to be another follow-up shot from Hockey, sent down to Zanil. Zanil going to slam it home, 5-1. That may be a dagger.
Yeah, and something that I've started to see with our Southern Miss squad, they really don't do that well in boost management wise. I mean, Northwood, they're using everything besides boost to get to the ball most of the time. With these wall dashes and the chain dashes, they're using every recovery mechanic to get to the ball. And Southern Miss, while they're drowned out on defense, Northwood really doesn't need that much boost to get to these balls and put challenges on Southern Miss, which is very good, and something Southern Miss is more than likely going to have to work on after this game, because it looks like it's about to be another goal for Northwood, saved by Zath, and not, oh my gosh, Zanil manages to backflip into that goal, and it's 6-1 Northwood. It's not looking very good for the boys right now.
Yeah, I mean, just in the right place at the right time. Creams touch off the backboard and shot, I believe it was. And then Zanil following it up. Again, right place, right time. That's just a tough one to swallow if you are Southern Miss. As if the 5-1 deficit wasn't bad enough. It's now 6-1. There's only a minute back in this. And to be honest, if you're Southern Miss, this has to be a bit, not terribly, but just a little bit demoralizing in this game, because, you know, you're right there on the cusp of qualifying through that winner's side, and you have a tough loss to Ball State, and then you come here, you wait for what was almost 2 hours, and you get to play Northwood. You get to play a team that's arguably better than what you played in the winners bracket. So still a very good showing from Southern Miss, especially in games 1 and 2. This one has been a bit different, but games 1 and 2 very, very close, both decided by 1 goal. And Now with just 30 seconds, you're just going to see what you can get, see if you can at least put a second on the board against this squad. But that is going to be Hockey, Cream, Zanil, Northwood, just barely managing to make it back into that top 8. It gets a bit scary for them. You lose to UTK, and you're kind of looking at the board like, what is going on? Like, what did we do wrong? What happened? But they managed to bring it back. They take down some quality opponents, take down Illinois State in the semifinal. That's a big one to win. As Cream's leaving the game before it actually ends, I mean, I guess. And yeah, I mean, Astro, of course you're going to say that, but obviously no one's going to DQ over that. There's no reason to, but technically in the rules, yeah, and that since that's streamed, yeah, it's technically a DQ, but either way, it doesn't matter. The result would be the same, as it will be Northwood 3-0. GG's in the chat, of course. I mean, great stuff from Northwood. Southern Miss, again, a strong showing, but not quite the same as what we would see against other opponents. But that is probably going to be the best team they play all year, at least outside of RLCS play. So that is going to do it for us today, though. It's been an enjoyable day of Rocket League, a very long day. I mean, to be fair, we spent almost more time waiting than we did playing, but that happened. That's CRL for you. So you'll see it tomorrow. It will be Northwood and I believe Ball State qualifying from this bracket, and then a bunch of other teams qualifying from other brackets. That doesn't matter to us. So that's going to do it for us this weekend, though. We will catch you guys back here on Monday with even more Rocket League. You get even more Rocket League, a doubleheader from Coca-Cola, and we will have Rocket League Gold on stream as well if they play, as long as they play there. But thank you guys all for joining us.
And as per usual, Southern Miss.
I don't have my pencil today. To the top. We'll catch you guys later.